Hari Om. Welcome you all to this very special webinar on Kreeda Dharohar, Games in Ancient India. So this is a free webinar of only 3 lectures and I welcome you all for this. Let's start with a prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. So very important topic, games in ancient India. Now the very moment you utter the word games, what comes to your mind? Games are for what? Recreation, for diversion, for some creativity or socializing. It's a socializing technique. It's rejuvenating our own spirit when you are in a very depressed mood, and somebody calls you for play, especially when you are children, small young kids, then you are so happy because all your, suppose you got very few marks in mathematics, 0, or you have failed in math, because math is like an enemy for kids, right? And then you are so depressed, your parents are scolding you, and suddenly friends come, chal khelne ke liye, and all that bad mood and that roti surat, all that goes away and you are rejuvenated altogether. So games are very, very essential part. This is not only socializing, this is a cultural need. Right from the Rig Veda, the ancient most literature, we come across the references to play. And this is play, in a play mode only, the whole Srishti has happened. Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam. The entire Srishti is like a Leela for the Supreme Self, is it not? Now we just had this Navaratri and Kushmanda and this Jagaddatri, Siddhidatri. She created the entire thing, like just in a playful way. So this is not just play, this takes you to the highest philosophical truth as well. The whole idea of this, it started from recently in the Natya Shastra. We'll take the references of Rig Veda and all. In Natya Shastra, after the Krita Yuga, when the Treta Yuga started, there crept in Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga was all good, all noble, everything was so good. In the Treta Yuga, slowly and gradually, jealousy, hatred, rivalry, competition, all this started. And that made people sorrowful. That made people miserable. So they all went to the gods. And when people become miserable, they forget Yajna Yagas. If they don't do Yajna Yaga, the Devas don't get the Havi, right? So Devas, they subsist on the Havis which we give. So they all went to Brahma. And they said, Ramaniyakam ichhamaha drishyam shravyam cha yad bhaved. We want some plaything. Ramaniyakam, which is very charming. Kreedaniyakam, a plaything, which is Ramaniyaka, very charming, and which is drishya, visual, as well as shravya, audio. So some audio visual plaything we want, and that exactly is the genesis of Natya Shastra. So in the Bharata Natya Shastra, in the first chapter, when you have Natyotpatti, you have this story, okay? So that you can get from any book on Natya Shastra. And we all, know in the Puranas and in the folk literature that Shiva Parvati are playing Pachisi, Chaupar. They are playing a pata, okay? And then Shiva sometimes loses, sometimes Parvati loses. When Parvati loses, she gets annoyed, she gets angry, and she leaves the game and walks away. Sometimes Shiva gets, the low dana and Parvati is winning. I will show you some interesting, what you can say, sculptures from Ellora caves in Maharashtra, okay. Very beautiful carvings, very beautiful sculptures are there. But when we think of the gods playing, it becomes like, oh, gods are also playing, then what harm is there if we play, right? And we have like Shiva Parvati as a full, complete couple with their 2 kids. They are also quarreling, the siblings, and Parvati is trying to appease, Hey Hey Ramba Kimamba and all these verses we have. So it is like a complete family picture where, the family is playing games, some board games. Now I remember when we all, we two and our 2 kids, we used to play carom. Remember? We used to play carom, make 2 teams and used to play carom or playing cards, When all of us gather together, it's so much of fun. Especially on festivities and all, we do play. So that is our psychological need as well. So with this little introduction, so it's a cultural need, it's a psychological need, and that displays and increases the skills of the people. It amuses people, entertains them, excites them sometimes. More excitement is there. Sometimes stimulates their mind and intellect. So the whole BMI, body, mind and intellect, this BMI constitution of persona that gets stimulated by games. Games could be physical, like, running, racing, kho-kho, kabaddi, kalaripayattu, so many, right? They could be physical, they could be mental. Sometimes you have to strategize like chess. There is no physical, you are just moving your hand, but lot of movements are going on at the back of it, at the back of every move. So there is more mental and intellectual strategizing before you make a move. So there are various types, right? So physical, mental, intellectual games. Now in this series of 3 lectures, we would not touch intellectual games. Intellectual games are the riddles, the puzzles, and there are so many types, I tell you. In Sanskrit, if you read Banabhatta's Harshacharita, you come across so many intellectual riddles. So that requires a separate lecture. So I will not touch that, okay. So many types are there, and they are for our socio-cultural development of human being. They are all necessary. So the ancient physical games, we are talking about ancient games. Of course, when we talk, the name I want to dwell on for a minute on the title, Kreeda Dharohar. We have named this webinar as Kreeda Dharohar. Kreeda is Khel. Khelo India. That is the slogan of Bharat, right? For the sports academy and all. So Khelo India. So Kreeda is Khel, and Dharohar is like that which is a treasure which is kept for the posterity and which is well protected. So when we talk about Dharohar, we at a time have its roots traced back to the ancient most civilization from which we have, that has percolated down to us. So that is Sindhu Saraswati civilization, and we have got so many excavation sites. We have discovered so many games, etc. In fact, the very flyer of this Kreeda Dharohar gives you a stone slab having the pawns on it. Okay, so that is the putter, the ancient most putter, that is on the flyer. Okay, so this will have the archaeological evidences plus literary evidences, right from Rigveda to Manasollasa by Someshwara, which he wrote only for the king's amusement and all, and to the Sanskrit literature also. Okay, so that is the literary thing. And the third is continuation of the tradition. If it is something like a treasure, then it has to be given, deposited, handed over to the posterity. for the next generations. So does it happen? So do we play some of these games even now? So continuation of the tradition. On these three benchmarks, we can testify, how these games, right from the ancient India, they have been continued even now. Okay. So it's a thousands of years of uninterrupted history of games in ancient India. Mental games, of course, they break the monotony, the boredom, and they induce some amusement and recreation and divert you from your gloominess to something cheerful, right? So that is also needed because they break the monotony. And archaeological evidences and some games prevalent till now, till date. So that is the continuity of that. I have given a few sites and few books which you may refer to for your further studies. Okay. So this is Vinodana. Vinoda, a Sanskrit word which is very, the connotation of that in the regional language is humor, especially in Marathi. Vinod means humor. But V plus Nuda, that is Nuda is Prerana, Nuda Prerana, okay? And V Viruddha. So if you are doing one thing, you divert and you go to some other direction, that is Vinoda. So Vinoda basically means diversion. And in Somapala's, Someshwara's Manasollasa, we have this word, Bhajet Pramodam Bhupalaha Shastra Vidya Vinodanaihi. Bhupalaha, the king, Pramodam Bhajet, he should enjoy. What are the sadhanas? Shastra. So, warfare or Shastra Spardha, that is also Vinodana. Then Vidya, intellectual games I was referring to, and other types of Vinoda, diversions. Shastra Vidya Vinodoyam Kathitaha Soma Bhubhuja. So Soma Bhubhuja, Somapala, the king, he has given you this as Vinoda. And there are so many types of Vinoda like Gaja Vaihali Vinodaha, Turaga Vaihali Vinodaha, Mahisha Vinodaha, Sarameya Vinodaha. So these are the fights, elephant fights, horse fights, dog fights, then even the small birds, quail, tittira, bater or tittira bird, unka fight, Malla Vinoda, wrestling, Malla Vinodaha, then Lavaka Yuddha, Lavaka is that bird, Paravata Vinoda, the pigeon. So all these are different Vinodas. Matsya Vinoda, even Matsya Vinoda. Then Mrigaya is a Vinoda. And for Mrigaya, we have very famous verse in Shakuntala, second act. And Dandi also talks very highly about Mrigaya. Okay. So the Malla Yuddha, the duets and the wrestling, cock, pigeon flight, quail fights, etc. We even have the famous Spain, in Spain we have that bullfight, right? Yeah. So all the Jallikattu, in Tamil Nadu we have Jallikattu. So all these have been prescribed as Vinoda. Okay. And then these are the external, outdoor games. We categorize outdoor games and indoor games. So that is also there. And then indoor games are board games. We have Chaturanga, then Punjika, it is called Pashaka, or Fajjika Kreeda. Fajjika Kreeda may be Ganjifa Kreeda, or Fajja is some root, and Professor Vakankar, who will be giving lectures based on the manuscripts which he has studied, he will throw more light on Ganjifa. But in Maharashtra, in Savantwadi, in Konkan, Talakonkan, Savantwadi, we have the historical Ganjifa play cards. Ganjifa is the precursor of the playing cards. Can you believe that? Playing cards. The pack is of 13 cards, right? And there are like spade and club and diamond and heart, 2 colors and 4 vidha, 4 types. But then 13, this number has come from India. And how I tell you, in Ganjifa, of course, Bakankar will speak more on that. Ganjifa, Savantwadi, they made the wooden Ganjifa cards like circular ones. Circular ones, in the picture you can see it, the circular ones, and they are Dashavatara. Dashavatara Ganjifa cards. So they are only 10. What about the other 3? One is the king, the second is the queen, and the third is the Vidushaka. This exactly is the combination now, the king, the queen and the joker. Is it not? In the playing cards. And there are 10 others from 1 to 10, and they are from Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Dashavatara. So this is the origin. Interesting, right? So we never knew that, Ganjifa is the precursor of the playing cards, okay. So many interesting information, bits of information you can find here. And there is a book called Mallapurana, edited by B.J. Sandesara and Dr. R.N. Mehta, and it was published by Gaekwad Oriental Series, Baroda, Oriental Institute, Baroda in 1964. Okay, so that has so many things of this, and there is one more book, called Games and Pastimes in Manasollasa. Games and Pastimes in Manasollasa. It's a PhD thesis by P. Arundhati. It is published from Delhi in 2004. Of course, there are other books also. I will be giving some sites also for you. So these are some of these references. With this, we come to the outdoor games now. What were exactly the outdoor games right from ancient period? So outdoor games, we just saw that Gajavayihali Vinoda or Mallavidya, Shastra Vidya was prescribed for the kings, right? And because kings need to have that martial vigor, that warrior spirit they have to maintain, and therefore to keep up that martial spirit, different games evolved in different regions. Some of the games are even now prevalent. Because now we are in Kerala, I am talking about Kalaripayattu. So Kalaripayattu is a martial art as well as a sport. It is also a sport, and even the girls can participate. We have seen multiple times, right, here in front of the illam in the ground, how many times we have seen girls and boys together doing this martial art and sport. So Kalaripayattu is one such. Of course, the repercussions of this or the parallels of this you can find in many other regions, right from Punjab till, Trivandrum to Punjab and Northeast and all, we have different vidhas of this. In Maharashtra, we have Danda and Khadga. Even the girls do that Danda and Khadga, Khadga is the sword and Danda is a long stick. And lat chalate hai, lat marte hai. So in Bihar and UP, we have that lat, that is a big stick, lathi. So this is a very common sport. Then Mallakham. Mallakham is either done on the pole or on the rope. Pole or the rope or even cane, bamboo. And this is like a gymnastics plus yoga. Both together, this becomes Mallakhamba. And this could be the origin of pole dancing. Pole dancing now, see how I am trying to connect, these old sports to the modern day sports. So that is one thing. Then there is Vajramushti. Vajramushti is wrestling basically, but if the wrestler wants to injure and win over the opponent, he wears something on his forefingers. That is shown in the picture. That is called Vajramushti. Okay, Vajramushti. And this is hand-to-hand combat between two people only. Mallavidya is only restricted to two people. Then we have, a play called Lagori. Lagori we call in Marathi. In Hindi, what they call, I don't know. When I searched on Google, I came across the word 7 flat stones. Now, what is this game? You place 7 flat stones, one on the other. There are 2 teams, right? And you take a ball. Now, when we also played it when we were children, right? We used to play it. And if we didn't have the tennis ball, even a rubber ball, or even, the worn out clothes, they were stitched together to make a ball. That also we have played with. So you throw that ball on that heap of the stones, okay, and the stones get scattered everywhere, and you have to go and pile it up again, and that ball has gone somewhere. With that ball, the other party, the fielders, they will try to hit you. You have to escape them and run away, then come back again, and you pile it up again and say Lagori, and then you win over a point. So that is played even now. And interestingly, this is a rural game. Children play it in not in cities anymore because they don't have place to play this game, but open spaces in small towns and villages, they play even now. And it's a very interesting game. It has, coordination of it requires agility, first of all, the quickness and swiftness to come and pile it up. At the same time, you have to eye that person who is throwing a ball at you. You have to miss that hit also. So coordination of all these things, that is very, very important. So Lagori, then Langdi, on one foot, the other foot you just keep up, and on one foot you, like a lame person walking on one foot, you walk on one foot and chase the others and, touch them, they become out. And this game, interestingly, was developed during the Pandya rules in Tamil Nadu. Interesting, Allah. So many information pieces you get, when you go into the game. So Langdi was also an outdoor game. Then we have Kho-Kho. Kho-Kho. We have played all these games, because I grew up in a village. So normally there are 9 players in each. There are 2 teams, 9 players. And basically 12 are selected, 3 are like substitutes. Like in cricket also, we have substitute, Rakhiv, right? So like that there are 3 like Rakhiv Gadi, but 9 players, and rectangular ground is marked, and 2 poles at 2 corners, 2 sides, and one team who is fielding, they have to squat on the ground, and the other team, one after the other, 2-3 players will come, and in between the squatted players, one's face is this side, the other face is that side. Like that you have to face, opposite each other. There is some space, and in between you have to go and escape the hit from the opposite party. So Kho-Kho, then Kabaddi. I saw on the Google that after cricket and football, Kabaddi is the 3rd most popular game in India. There are pre-Kabaddi leagues and Kabaddi leagues, and like cricket and all, they have their uniforms, they have their teams, and they have sponsors and all. And Kabaddi, interestingly, girls also play. It is not only boys' game anymore. So it's a collective self-defense strategy. It gives you a collective team spirit and how to defend yourself, attacking and defending. So these are the war strategies basically, and they are experimented on the ground first in the form of play. So 7 players each, 2 teams. So that is Kabaddi. Then Gilli Danda or Gulli Danda in Punjab. In Marathi we call it Viti Dandu. And so this is the precursor of the English cricket. But there is no bowler. Okay, there is a gilli, there is beach mein, it's like very thick and tapering on both sides, that is called gilli, and there is a danda of 3 feet, and you hit it on one side. Jab se uchhalte hai usko, you just kick it, so that danda becomes a bat and that gilli becomes like a ball. Only thing is there is no bowler to bowl it, you only have to pick it up by hitting it, by striking it, and then bus. If somebody catches it, you are out. If nobody catches it, then you measure the distance, how far that gilli has fallen from that danda, and whose distance, gets more, he is the winner. If it is caught, the batsman is out. Then another player comes, okay. So gilli danda, women also, girls also used to play. Interestingly, I don't know, I haven't checked it. I should have checked it whether it's there in the critical edition of Mahabharata. When we were young, we were told, how Dronacharya made the Kauravas. There is a story of Viti Dandu in that. Once the Kauravas and Pandavas, small kids they were, and they were playing gilli danda. They were playing Viti Dandu, and that gilli fell in a dry well. Okay, in a dry well it fell, and they were worried now. It just, jumped up and, it fell in a dry well. Now how to take it out? And Dronacharya, who had been to this Drupada Raja, and Drupada Raja insulted him, and he was coming back in dejected mood. He saw these kids, they are worried, they are gathering, and they are just looking and peeping down in that dry well. He asked them, what's the matter? And they said, that gilli has fallen there and we want to take it out, we don't know. Do you have a bow and an arrow? They had, because they were Kshatriyas. So somebody brought the bow and the arrow. He just hit an arrow, and with that arrow, he took out that gilli. That is the story I had heard when I was young. You also might have heard, right? So that is, I don't know whether it is authentic. But see how from the Mahabharata period, if it is, even if it's a folk story, even if it is not recorded, it shows that somewhere, in those times, this was being played. And that gilli which was fallen, that was taken out by shooting an arrow. The children rushed to Bhishma Pitamaha, saying that we met one Brahmana who took this arrow, bow and arrow, and with the arrow, he took it out. And then Bhishma said, he is the fit person to teach you Dhanurveda. And that is how Dronacharya was appointed as the master of Dhanurveda. So all these stories do carry some significance, right? So that is the Mahabharata story. This is called, when I search, it is called tip cat in English. Tip cat. And the Google Swami will give you the names of this game, Gilli Danda, in different regions of India. Okay. So it has Malayalam version, it has Gulli Danda Punjabi, I remembered, and Viti Dandu Marathi because I am a Maharashtrian. And I have given you the sites also, so you can check it for yourself. Okay. Now, in the outdoor games, running was a game. Running is a fast movement of body, hands and feet, with coordination. And this was for racing. We normally think of, the hare and the tortoise running race. They had a running race, right? And the hare lost because he slept in between. So racing is reaching the target faster before the stipulated time. So then came the spirit of competition to that. Then it became a spardha, okay, a competition. So racing was initially by feet only. Later on, horseback, okay, horse races. Now when we see the horse races in Mahalakshmi horse racing stadium is their race course. Now all these have begun from here. A simple way of running, and instead of our feet, horses may run and we will ride the horse, right? So horse races, then cart races or chariot races, bullock cart races. So this is how it developed. From feet, he would mount on some vehicle, and then the race would happen. And then boat race. When there are rivers, boat race will be there. On grounds, it will be like horse and cart and other things. So this is exactly what we have in Onam as Vallam Kalli. that is the boat festival, and tug of war, Vadamvalli, that is also, we saw it now, right, in Onam. So these are very, very famous games here, and the bullock cart races are even now played in Maharashtra. Bullock cart races are there, even women do that, and this is the precursor of the Jallikattu. And every time Jallikattu happens, there is a ban from court and there is a stay on this, and you must have seen all these things happening. And there are right from Mohenjo-daro, I initially told you that literary evidences, excavational findings, and the continuity of the tradition. These are the three benchmarks to say that this has an uninterrupted tradition. So in Mohenjo-daro, seal number 312, it depicts the Jallikattu, the old form of Jallikattu, and this belongs to some 2600 years back, and it is there in the National Museum, New Delhi. Okay, so that picture is also given. So very interesting things are there. So I have given you the picture of the tug of war, the Vadamvalli or the Valamkalli, the boat race in Kerala, which are like the snake boats they call, snake boats, very long ones. And the horse cart race is the Ratha. This has a reference right from the Rigveda. So we'll see some of the Vedic references now. And of course, some sites also give you the pictures, and recently you got the Ratha and the parts of Ratha in Sinoli and some other excavation sites. So there are proofs to that. So it is not just a literary reference, there are archaeological evidences as well. So in the Vedic Index of Names and Subjects by MacDonald and Keith, there are 2 volumes of it. You have more than 60 terms for chariot and its various parts. 60 words are there. That shows how horse and the chariot were part and parcel of ancient Indian culture and their daily life. Racecourses were there, and there were boundaries, and if it is a chariot race, one has to reach there, that boundary, cross the limit, boundary first, and then he is the winner. And we have words for that. Kashtha, Ajyantaha api kashtha uchyate, Aji, Ajanti asyam iti. So one who have competitions with each other, they run this race. And we have phrases like Ajim dhava, to run a race. To run a race on the race course, Ajim dhava, there is a phrase also. And Indra, the swiftest of the gods and the lord of the gods, he always used to be a winner, and therefore he has a special name, Ajikrit Indraha. Ajikrit Indraha. And then Ratha, Rathanabhi, Ara, Paridhi, these are the words which are very, very, even in the Shiva Sankalpa Sukta, we have Yasmin Pratishtita Rathanabho Eva Araha. As the spokes are fixed in the navel of the chariot, so too our thoughts should be fixed in our mind. Shiva Sankalpa, all good thoughts, okay? And if that they are loosened, the spokes are not joined there, you can see it from the bicycle also. There is a navel, the hub of the wheel, and to that all the spokes, they come and join at one point, right? So, Rathanabho Iva Araha, this is a very famous simile, and we have so many horse-related things, mentioned there, like horses were used for agriculture as well. For ploughing the field also, horses were used. They were used for wars, they were used for hunting, and they were used for races. In Nighantu, which is a glossary of Vedic words, we have 26 different names for horse. That itself shows how, if the vocabulary is so rich, what should be the importance? Is it not? And specific horses are there like Hari Indrasya. Hari is the name of the horse for Indra. Rohitaha Agnehe. Rohita, red color. That is the horse of Agni, fire. Adityasya Haritaha. Yellow. Harita is not green. Harita in Sanskrit means yellow. So yellow horses belong to Aditya. And Dadhikra, Dadhikravan is another such horse, and Vishpala is a mare. And you have in the Ashwini Suktas in the Rigveda that Vishpala broke her leg. Vishpala could be the name of a queen of a king, or Vishpala could be a mare, a horse, she horse. And she broke her leg, and it was two Ashwins, the twin Ashwina, they replanted her leg. So there is replantation of organ right from the Rigveda. So Vishpala, Dadhikra, these are the specific horse names. Then we have people's names on horses. See the importance of horse. Shavashva, Brihadashva, Ashwina, in their name also Ashwa is there, Saptashva. So many names are there, Haryashva. So Haryashva is Aditya. And these races they developed because the animals were employed in these races, and therefore they ensured that there is a special treatise on the care to be taken of these animals. And therefore we have Hayayurveda or Ashvayurveda by Shalihotra. Shalihotra was a rishi, and he has written a text called Ashvayurveda. And I have given a picture in that, from that picture, and it has wings also, so flying horses. We have this in fairy tales, right? So he has given that picture also in that Shalihotra's Ashvayurveda. Another Ashva Shastra is there, and it is ascribed to the Pandava Nakula. We know that Nakula, Sahadeva, the Madri Sutau, Nakula was an expert of the horse and all the things related to horses. It is called equine. This is equine science, equine. So, and Sahadeva was an expert with everything which is related to bovine, that is cattle, go and bull, bovine. So, on Nakula's name there is Ashva Shastra, okay? And it is said that Raja, Rashtram, Yasho, Lakshmihi, Dharma Kamartha Sampadaha, Vajinaha Yatra Tishtanti, Sarva Lakshana Sanyutaha. The importance of horse. If there are good horses in the stable of the king, then that king has, no enemies. His Rashtra, his Yasha, his Lakshmi, his Dharma, Kama, Artha, Sampadaha, everything becomes a stable there if he has good Ashvadala with him. And in the Chaturanga also we have Ashvadala, very important there, okay. So this is the importance of horses there. Then in the outdoor games we have archery and wrestling. Dhanurveda, of course there is a, Dhanurveda is a Upaveda of Yajurveda, and we have a separate book on Upaveda's IKS in application. You can read more about that. And Ola IKS lectures I used to take some 4-5 years back. So Ola IKS lecture number 18 has the details of this. This is not under the name of Dhanurveda. I think it is ancient Indian warfare or something like that. Warfare. Aisa kuch naam hai uska. Anyhow, so this archery was very, very essential for the kings and warriors. Very, very essential. Dhanushya. And competitions were organized to test the skill. We have in the Mahabharata itself, that such a competition was held, and when Karna came forward, Dronacharya said that you cannot participate in this because this is meant for kings and Kshatriyas, and he was a Sutaputra. And that was the moment when Duryodhana took that opportunity to coronate him as the Anga Deshasya Raja and befriend him. Otherwise, Karna had no significance throughout, It was just Duryodhana who befriended him at that particular moment because he saw some potential in that and he could use him as a weapon against the Pandavas, especially Arjuna. Okay. So, these competitions were held to show your skill and showcasing your talent. So, that is those references we find. Then we do have Arjuna's Matsya Veda. Arjuna's Matsya Veda to win over Draupadi, and then Rama doing Shiva Dhanurbhanga before Mahabharata in the Ramayana, Rama Shiva Dhanurbhanga, and Vasishtha teaching Dhanurveda to Rama and Lakshmana. Interestingly, the Dhanurveda Samhita, which is available now in a printed text, is ascribed to Vasishtha. Vasishtha's Dhanurveda Samhita, and it is Vasishtha who taught it to Vishwamitra, it is said. Normally we have Vasishtha and Vishwamitra's rivalry. But here is an instance where Vasishtha taught Dhanurveda to Vishwamitra, and then Vishwamitra took these young boys, Kakapakshadharo, who had hardly developed hair, on their faces, Rama and Lakshmana to the forest, and that was their extramural education beyond the walls of the Gurukula. Okay, so that was about the Dhanurveda. Then Mallavidya. Mallavinoda is mentioned even by Someshwara. Okay, and there were specially trained warriors, wrestlers, and these wrestlers were employed by the king by paying them and by taking care of their food, because they require a lot of nutritious food, and quantity also and quality also. So now also when we have the wrestling competitions going on, especially in Maharashtra near Krishna river, Krishna river's banks, Vai, Sangli and these villages, these towns, they have special training for the Kusti bolte hai usko, that is Mallavidya, okay, wrestling. So they are very special trained wrestlers, and we have a reference. This is not only, this is a continued tradition, but we have a reference in Bhagavata, in Krishna Charitra. Krishna and Balarama fought with Chanura and Mushtika. These were the two wrestlers appointed by Kamsa Raja, right? So we have the literary references, we have the continuation of the tradition. So this was all about the outdoor games. Of course, there could be many, but I have taken a few. I don't claim that I have covered everything, okay? There may be many more, and it's up to you now to explore and research and discover many. So now for the indoor games, Akshakrida was the most popular, Akshakrida, and this has, references right from the Rigveda. We have Akshasukta in the 10th Mandala, 1034. So it is called Dyuta, and in Dyuta you have it in Mahabharata, and that is the very reason in the Sabha Parva, where the Pandavas were sent to exile and Draupadi's Vastraharana and everything happened, all that humiliation and everything happened in the Sabha Parva because of Dyuta. But it was said that no Kshatriya can turn down the invitation of Dyuta. Being a Kshatriya, if somebody invites you for the play of Dyuta, you can't say no. That is some rule. The same thing is, we see in the case of Nala also. Nala's story, Nala Damayanti's story. Nala also lost in Dyuta, and therefore he was exiled, right? So Nala's story is not different from Yudhishthira's story here. So this is called Pachisi or Saripat or Chaupar, and games similar to Chaupar with difference in color schemes. They have some color schemes also, color code is there, and along with dice, they have been identified from Iron Age. Right from the Iron Age, such things have been found, and painted grey were period from Mathura, they also display this. So this is the archaeological truth. I am making a deliberate point, that people normally say, oh, you Sanskrit people, you just quote from the literature. You don't have any other evidences. But there are evidences. Okay, so that was one Aksha Kreeda. Of course, we have this Aksha Sukta in the Rigveda, and the dice throw, they have 4 types of throw basically there: Krita, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. And the particular person who is playing this in the Sukta, he used to be a loser every time. And he laments, that because I am a loser, nobody speaks to me. My wife turns away her face from me. My mother-in-law treats me like a stray dog because I am a loser. Every time he goes to the Akshashala, there are Akshashalas. Like Natyashalas. There are Akshashalas. Okay. So Aksha was a popular game there. But then he says, Na maraditaram bindate, one who loses does not get any sympathizer. So it is his lament, and then at the end he comes to a conclusion that instead of sleeping outside my house, on the step like a stray dog, better I would till the land and earn my livelihood and don't waste money on this Aksha. So, Akshairma Divyaha Krishimit Krishasva. So, that is the lamentation of this gambler. But then that is also we have in Aksha Kreeda. And another board game is Snakes and Ladders. Every one of us has played Snakes and Ladders, Sapshidi, right? In different forms. Now, Sapshidi, I have some 3 versions with my granddaughter, Abha, and recently, some 2 years back, somebody gave me, what is it named? Jnana Bodhini or some different name. Mokshapata is there of Jnaneshwara, that also I am referring to. So, Jnaneshwara in Jnaneshwari refers to Mokshapatam, and when you start from 1 and reach 100, it is not 100 there, it is Paramapadam. So, you reach Paramapada, and there are snakes of Lobha, Irsha, Krodha, they will bring you down. And there are some ladders which take you up, like Seva, Sadhana, Tapaha, Shuchita, Pavitrya, all these things, worship, Dana, all these things are ladders, they take you up. So, and otherwise all these Kashaya, the Manomalinya, that will bring you down. We have similar Chaupara, this Chaupar in Jaina, Jnana Chaupar they call it. In Jainas also they have it. Ramdas Swami, after Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Ramdas Swami has also referred to this Mokshapata. Swaminarayan Sampradaya also has it. So, it is both a religious as well as philosophical thing other than just a plaything. So, Snakes and Ladders is not just to amuse yourself or pass the time. It's not just a pastime, but it is played for a philosophical and gaining some noble truth, noble values. For that also it is played. And some games of such kind are played during festivals, especially in Diwali. I don't know about other places, but in Diwali, in Karnataka at least, and so many places in North, this Pata is played. Pagadi Ata, we call it Pagadi Ata in Kannada. Ata is Kreeda, game, and Pagadi are those pawns, they are made up of wood. So, there is a small like shira and circular, half circular thing, and you just put it 4 colors, green, yellow, red and black, 4 types of pawns would be there. And this is like cross, this side, 7 places are there, 7, 7, 7, 7, like this. So, this Pagadi Ata we used to play in Diwali. Lakshmi Puja day we used to play. And even in North, they have a tradition to play Chaupar, this Chaupar during festivals. So games are associated with festivals. So when I started the lecture, I said this is a socio-cultural need. Playing games is not just a means of socializing ourselves, but it is a cultural dharohar as well. So this is how it connects culturally with the festivals. So in the Mahabharata, we have Shakuni playing the evil game, and cheating. So it happened because of the game of dice, and Kshatriya could not decline the offer, and King Nala's downfall. We saw all that. So this is the dark or evil side of the game. There is a positive side of socializing and culturally, and nurturing yourself. But then there is a dark side, especially from, and one who is cheating therefore, he is called Shakuni Mama because he is a cheater. And we used to play this Pagdi Atta with Kauri, and Kauris have like the open end also and the back side also. So while doing it in hands, we used to, do that cheating and then play it like this. So then people used to accuse us, oh, you are Shakuni Mama, like that. So this has a bad side also, and therefore it resulted in ethical advice that you should not play it. Otherwise, any play, when it is played in a very healthy spirit, it is a good thing. It is culturally important. But when you start cheating and when you start winning over the other party, with having for bait something which is very, very unethical, like, you go to Vanavasa for 14 years and this and that. You owe me something. Yeah, you give me a barfi, I will give you a barfi piece. That's okay. So the bait also should, that should be very like an enjoyment spirit and not an oppressive mode. Otherwise, it becomes a unethical practice, and therefore there was much opposition for playing such games. So prohibition of dice, and that dice then converted itself into chaturanga or chess. That dice then converted because there were so many evil practices creeping in, and therefore this evolved into chaturanga or chess. More of chaturanga you will listen from Professor Vakankar tomorrow and after tomorrow. So there are books on chaturanga, special books, and he will refer to, he has seen the original manuscripts in Baroda Oriental Institute. So chaturanga vinoda, chaturanga vihara, chaturanga vilasa manimanjari. What are the names? Chaturanga vinoda, this is vinoda. Chaturanga vihara, you are playing with chaturanga. Chaturanga vilasa manimanjari. And there are other Kreeda books also, like Kreeda Kaushalyam. In fact, in our SIF manuscript library, we have a manuscript of this name, Kreeda Kaushalyam. There is a manuscript called Matanga Leela in our SIF library. Then Buddhibala Kreeda, there is a book, and Manasollasa, of course, it covers so many things. So Professor Vakankar will enlighten you all on this, and some unheard information based on authentic manuscripts you will get to know from him. And now, of course, India stands number one, not number one, but for us to be proud of, Prajnanananda, right from Anand, the Grand Master Anand. Then we have Prajnanananda and Gukesh and his sisters and so many. So the women, the girls, recently the girl from Nagpur, I forget her name. So she was, she won the, runners-up competition just recently, 2 months back. So we have now like mohar uthai hai hamari. So we have established ourselves as a country which plays chess because chess originated in India. And therefore, we have to prove that no, this is our game and we'll play it to the best of our capacity. Now I am showing you I'll show you first one picture and then take you to another picture. So when you see this picture, this is so interesting. This is Ellora cave number 21. Ellora cave number 21, and Shiva Parvati are playing as usual. Okay, Shiva Parvati are playing. Shiva has lost to Parvati. The way Shiva Parvati is sitting, she is resting her hand on a takiya like this. Ait ka baiti hai, because she has won. Okay, so her posture also is so beautiful. You must see this carving. So Shiva has lost to Parvati, and then he has raised a finger like this. That carving has Shiva raising one finger, Parvati is sitting like this, and her braid, her hair are braided, and one maid has picked up her braid and she is just playing with that. She has lifted her braid, that is also seen. And others are also watching, other people are watching. So some ganas of Shiva, one is holding Trishula, one is fanning him, like that. So when they are playing, the whole family gathers there. Parvati's Sakhis on her side and Shiva's ganas on his side. So these are like two parties playing with each other. So when he raises one finger, what is the meaning of that finger? There are so many interpretations. This is so beautiful, very charming. So Parvati is sitting, with her hand, she has pressed her hand on the cushion and she is sitting like this. I have won. Now what have you to say? He has raised one finger, and that finger could mean you have cheated. That's why you won. Okay? Or it could mean either you win or I win. We are both one only. Is it not? So we are both one. Shiva Shakti Abheda Vagartha Viva Sampruptau Vagartha Pratipattaye. So there are different meanings, and all are. And the bhava, on the stone sculptures, it is so amazing to see how our artisans were so great. They could bring in that bhava in stone. Ellora cave number 21. Okay. Now there is another picture. Parvati, ladies always have that mocking spirit in them and they always would like to cheat in a gentle manner. They would like to cheat. So this is another cave number 29, and Parvati wants to cheat, but Shiva got it beforehand. She wanted to cheat, but Shiva got it beforehand. Shiva holds her hand. No more cheating. I know, right? No more cheating. So Shiva holds her hand and smiles, and the other gods are watching, and Nandi is on guard, and Parvati, poor thing, she doesn't know what to do now. He got me red-handed. So that is also very beautiful. So these two caves, they are what you can say, the evidence is to how this plaything was done for amusing oneself. It is not for winning or losing. One has to play, one has to win, one has to lose. But it is more than winning or losing. It is amusing one's own self and socializing and having that family get together. They are not playing alone. There is a whole family group standing, one side supporting Parvati, the other side supporting Shiva and cheering them, maybe, So, very interesting. So, this has recreational value and pure pastime and diversion, and mock fights sometimes while playing. This is mock cheating. That is admissible. In every game, it is admissible. And sometimes, the devotees are saying something and, okay. So, somebody is saying something, suggesting something. So, listening to the devotees and all that. So, if you have such an atmosphere at home, how that family would look, we have lost that family which is the smallest unit of the society. Family is the smallest unit of the society. But we have lost that bonding now. And why the entire, marriage system or the society is crumbling down now. In the West, it has already crumbled. And in India also, it is on the verge of crumbling because we have lost that family spirit, that togetherness, that bonding, and that bonding happens through such games. We all play together, we eat together, then only we stay together, right? So this is the family recreation or bonding. So some lessons we have to learn from the past. And for the living tradition now, I'll tell you one thing. This I found from the Google Swami's treasure, Dharohar. So there is a temple in Rajapur district in Maharashtra. In Rajapur district, Rajapur also is Konkan. And the temple is called Dhuta Papeshwar Shiva Mandir. Dhuta Papeshwar. By the way, Dhuta Papeshwar is a pharmaceutical, Ayurvedic pharmaceutical company. Dhuta Papeshwar drugs like Vaidyanath and Jandu. We have Dhuta Papeshwar also. So in Panvel, I was there. So there was Dhuta Papeshwar industry, and the gutikas, etc. were being made. I have seen that Dhuta Papeshwar Puranik. Kaka Puranik was there, Kaka Sahib Puranik. So that Dhuta Papeshwar Shiva temple is there in Rajapur district in Maharashtra. After evening arati, every day after evening arati, before the pujari, the priest, closes the doors and the gods are put to sleep, the pujari, the priest, places a saripat. Shiva and Parvati are fond of playing saripat. That is chaupar, okay, that pata. So he places the saripat and locals, and then only he closes the doors of the temple. The locals believe that Shiva Parvati play at night. Locals believe that Shiva Parvati play at night, and when in the morning he opens, sometimes the pawns which are placed they have moved from their places. So sometimes he sees they have been moved. So who moves those? So locals have a strong belief that Shiva Parvati every night they come and play this game even now. So their play, and they have to play. Unless they play, the continuity of the world is not ensured. It is their play, but then here the Srishti and Laya happens. So winning is creation and losing is dissolution or destruction. So they have to play, otherwise the Srishti Chakra will not move. And therefore this is not just a play, from play to philosophy. That is what you saw in that flyer also. So the play is of Srishti and Laya. So this becomes the highest cosmological philosophical truth. This doesn't remain on the play thing or a pastime thing. It is a play for maintaining the cycle of bhava, of the samsara. And therefore, this is the Leela. This is the Leela of the gods, and creating and destroying is like, constructing a castle of the play cards, you play the castle, the play cards like this, and on the top another layer, and with it all collapses. So the children used to do that. Children do it even now. Even with the thermocol glasses or the plastic glasses, on one after the other, they will put some 7 here, then 6, then 5, then 4, and then 1, and it will all fall down. Or you go to beach and the children make a castle of the sand, and they will kick it out with their foot. So their play is over. They have amused themselves much, and before going, they just destroy it. So they have no grief in destroying that. So it has to go on and on and on. You just can't create one after the other. You have to destroy also. So this becomes a cyclic event, Srishti and Laya. So this is Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau. So I hope you like this games in ancient India. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.